The Bentusi said, "No one returns."
The nebula is incredibly rich in energy and resources. Energy levels are so high that our sensors are having trouble compensating. Begin harvesting the nebula while we recalibrate the sensors.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Homeworld 1 Remastered. So we have entered the Great Nebula here, and as you can see it's very red. And our sensors manager is totally scrambled as if we have a giant jammer pointed at the entire fleet. You can see all these blinking contacts. So I'm going to spend some time building up the fleet before we actually get started here. And I want a good amount of strike craft. And here we go. We've got like a bunch of interceptors, defenders, heavy corvettes, and several drone frigates. So that's good. And yeah, not to mention 2 destroyers.
Order confirmed.
So
Confirmed.
We hopefully have enough
Confirmed.
to encounter whatever deadly threat is here.
Group 5 reporting. Strike group coordinates
I've
locked
put them
in.
all into strike
Standing
groups.
There's a contact closing with the mothership. Sensor instability in this region makes it difficult to identify. Prepare the ambassador.
by. Escorting friendlies. Acknowledged.
This is the garden of Kadesh. For 13 generations we have protected it from the unclean. The tyrannic raiders who came before you refused to join and were punished for this trespass. Like theirs, your ship has already defiled this holy place. If you have come to join, we welcome you, and will spare you your ship until all have disembarked. If you have come to consume the garden, you will be removed at once. What are your intentions?
We were unaware of the significance of this location. We mean no conflict. Please allow us time to repair our engines so that we may withdraw as requested.
If you will not join, then die. There is no withdrawal from the garden.
Alright, well, if that wasn't creepy and monotone enough, then yeah, we're about to face off against a very fanatical enemy. Note that the camera is zoomed in on this large vessel, not the strike craft. Might be a hint.
Delay the attacking ships while Fleet Command charges the hyperdrive module. We should have the range to jump clear of the nebula.
Alright, so say hello to the Kadeshi. Yes.
Acknowledged.
They come at you with swarms of these little strike craft called,
Confirmed. Ready.
appropriately,
Strike group
swarmers.
fire. Copy.
Yes. And I'll describe
Strike
them
group
in a
under enemy
little
attack.
bit. But this is why I wanted to build up the fleet before we actually kick this mission off.
Standing by. Supporting
So
friendly
I
units.
had I have 20 interceptors, 35 defenders,
8 minutes.
20 heavy corvettes, and 2 drone frigates. Those drone frigates are going to be worth their weight in gold. So, and as usual, we'll do the usual look at these new vessels, although in the later half of the mission.
Combat stations look sharp.
So, you basically have to fight these swarmers off, and really what they are is, I'm going to pull the resources back. Really what the swarmers are is they're...
Receiving fire. Resource collector taking enemy fire. Moving to destination.
The enemy is relying heavily on fighter-class. Enemy forces are concentrating on our resource collectors. Allocate combat vessels to protect them.
Alright, so yeah, as he was about to say, you know, the enemy is relying heavily on fighter-class vessels. They're essentially fighters with Corvette-powered weaponry, if you will.
Attack order confirmed. Alright, stay with me now.
So they have as much firepower as a Corvette and a small, fast fighter. The fighters, the swarmers, are actually faster than your scouts, but they pay for that because they're very short-ranged. So they are very short-legged.
Strike group, prepare for assault. You are clear to dock.
The obvious tactical decision here is to actually have your larger ships, your frigates and destroyers, go after their fuel pods, which is their larger vessels that the camera kind of focused on.
Confirmed. Copy. Group 3 reporting.
That destroyer there is going after the mothership, the Kadesh mothership. Anyway, so you can focus on the fuel pods, and eventually, if you destroy the fuel pods, then the swarmers won't really have anywhere to go, because once they run out of fuel, they'll just be dead in the water, or dead in space, I guess you could say. So they just don't have the endurance to really do much. They are powerful, and they come at you in large waves, but you just target the fuel pods with the destroyers and with the frigates, and use your strike craft and drone frigates to defend around the mothership. Kind of one of the keys to this mission is to keep your forces consolidated, right? Or keep them around the mothership. That's really all you have to do. You don't have to travel anywhere in this mission. Just keep everyone together. And that way they can all concentrate their firepower and mutually share the defense.
Group 6 under attack.
Standing by.
Group 7 reinforced.
Drawing light fire.
Group 6
I realize that
enemy contact.
Taiidan destroyer there is being targeted by the Kadesh mothership. Occasionally see this blue
Strike group, prepare for
ion beam come out from off the right side of the screen.
Construction underway. Strike group receiving fire. Berths are clear.
Alright, so we got some multi-gun corvettes built up. We are going to build a whole bunch of those because they are going to
Standing by.
really be useful against the swarmers.
Mothership.
Resource collector awaiting instructions.
Target locked.
Copy. You're looking for it. Confirmed. Group 2 copies.
Multi-gun corvette complete.
Roger.
I'm going to try and move Group 5 out of the way of the mothership because
Standing by.
I don't want to lose too many forces to the mothership.
Confirmed. Reporting. Combat maneuver confirmed.
Multi-gun corvette complete.
As you can see, we've basically they've whittled down Group 2.
Group 3 destroyed.
Yeah, now they've destroyed Group 3, and Group 2 is just a shell of itself. Remember, I started out with 20 interceptors, so they have just mangled
Group 7 copies.
Group 2 and destroyed Group 3.
Strike group reports hostile contact. Supporting friendly.
So what you really need to build is those multi-gun corvettes,
Ready.
Drone frigate complete.
Strike group.
because you need something kind of, you know, with some armor on it, something substantial that can hit, that can take some hits and hit back, if you will.
Copy. Reporting. Moving in. Strike group.
So
prepare for
the
assault.
defenders didn't last long, the interceptors didn't last long.
Complete.
Assume
Group
combat.
1, our heavy corvettes, are doing okay.
Roger.
Group 7 reinforced.
Alright, and the Kadesh mothership is just pieced out.
Ready.
So let's just keep
Strike group to
shooting
battle
them.
positions. Group 7 copies. Strike group moving into position.
And it
Moving
just
while
comes
engaging.
back,
Group 7
essentially.
reports enemy contact. Multi-gun corvette complete.
Confirmed.
That's the standard Kadeshi tactic, is to hyperspace a short distance away and,
Combat maneuver
you know, come
confirmed.
back and deploy another
Group 2
big... Look at
defeated.
that wave
Group
of
4
swarmers,
reports enemy
good lord.
contact.
Reporting. Friendlies under fire. Moving in.
Group 7 under attack.
Standing by. Roger.
Group 4 under attack. Multi-gun corvette complete. Group
What's
7
interesting is
reports
they always
enemy contact.
go back
Group
to
7
dock
standing
with the
by.
fuel
Strike
pods.
group
Probably
attack
because
order
it's just
confirmed.
quicker
Group
than
4
going back to dock
reports
with their
enemy
mothership.
contact. Drone frigate complete.
Supporting friendly units.
Alright, let's start getting these
Multi-gun corvette
multi-gun
complete.
corvettes into action.
Supporting friendly units. Group 7 copies. Copy.
Group 7 reinforced.
Alright,
Group 4
got another
under
drone
attack.
frigate
Strike
in the
group
mix
receiving
here.
Fire. Moving while engaging. Strike group coordinates locked in.
Multi-gun
Those drone
corvette
frigates
complete.
are mighty useful.
Strike group coordinates locked in.
We are getting a little bit close to the mothership there.
Group 7 reporting. Friendlies
There we go,
under
let's
fire.
pull them
Moving
back
in.
towards
Strike
Group
under
7.
Enemy attack. Strike group attack order
And
confirmed.
Group 7 can just blast
Reporting.
those
Multi-gun
swarmers with
corvette
their
complete.
drones.
Acknowledged.
Group 2 designated.
Attack coordinates locked in.
Multi-gun corvettes are now Group 2.
Roger. 2 reporting.
And they're going to start tearing through those swarmers.
Reporting.
Multi-gun
maneuver
corvettes,
confirmed. Group 6.
instead of having just
Moving
a
while
couple of
engaging.
guns, have
Multi-gun
6
corvette
guns
complete.
on them, all capable of
Friendlies
independently
under fire.
targeting
Moving in.
something.
Strike group prepare for assault.
And
Group
they have
7
advanced
reporting. Strike
targeting
group to battle
software.
positions.
So they'll just blast through stuff.
Resource collector taking enemy.
You might say that multi-gun corvettes are almost like the Corvette
Strike group
version of the drone frigates. I mean, sort of, but not really. But yeah, they both have a lot of guns, okay?
I got one.
And they can shoot stuff really, really fast. So they're really, really good anti-strike craft
Ready.
platforms.
All right, hang in there. Strike group attack order confirmed. Group 2 reporting. Friendlies under fire. Moving in. Attack
Hyperspace
coordinates locked
module
in.
charging. Ready in 1 minute.
Confirmed.
All right, so
Strike
we just
group
gotta
prepare
last
for
another
assault.
60 seconds here.
Frigate lost.
And I lost a frigate.
Strike group under enemy
Let's
attack.
launch those other multi-gun corvettes,
Group
reinforce
2
the group.
Supporting friendly units. Standing by.
All right, there we go.
Group 2 reinforced.
Strike group acknowledged. Ready.
All right, move out of the way there, Group 5. You're just
Enemy
taking
neutralized.
hits
Awaiting
from the
orders.
Kadesh
Roger.
mothership there.
That's all of them.
I don't like that.
Ready for orders. Friendlies under fire. Moving in. Combat maneuver confirmed. Roger. Repair order confirmed. Reporting. Group 6 copies. Attack vector laid in.
Group 7 under attack.
Supporting friendly
So
units.
this mission can be quite hectic.
Hyperspace module fully charged.
Coordinates set. Engage hyperdrive.
All right, so we finally drove off the Kadesh
Group 6
mothership.
reports victory.
Stay sharp.
Hyperdrive jump failed. The quantum waveform collapsed due to some kind of inhibitor field.
Analyzing field. Continue to protect the mothership until the source is located.
Group 10.
There's nothing much to say here about the Kadeshi Swarmer because we really just don't know much about the Kadeshi in general. They're meant to be very nebulous. Get it? Yeah, very mysterious, so you never really learn much about them. That being said, the Swarmer is about 50 times faster than the Kushan Scout. It has Corvette-sized guns and roughly Defender-class armor. However, those strengths are traded off in fuel capacity. It has only about 1/3 of the fuel of Kushan strike craft, so while the Kadeshi Swarmers are very potent fighters, they are very reliant on the fuel pods to remain in combat. Hence, the obvious need to target the fuel pods so the Swarmers will run out of gas quickly and become easy targets.
Group 6 has defeated the enemy.
Group 5 copies.
Oof, this mission can get pretty hectic, this mission and the next mission as well. Indeed, first time you play this, you're going to be sweating bullets.
Understood. Repair target locked in. Ready.
Another interesting thing about this version of the game, the remastered version, is that you can see the individual shots a lot better. You know, the bullets flying through space.
Standing by. Docking with support frigate.
And there it goes.
The inhibitor field has disappeared. The hyperdrive is fully functional.
Alright, good.
Acknowledged. Moving into formation.
Let's
Confirmed.
harvest stuff.
Resources
So we have
locked in.
successfully drove them off now. Like for real this time. So this is the Tempest class multi-gun corvette. Most capital ships are designed to engage vessels of roughly analogous size with turrets that track too slow to hit strike craft. With individual fighters being better suited for more offensive operations, Fleet Command realized the need for an anti-fighter platform with the speed, maneuverability, and armor of a corvette. The Tempest class design was adapted from a simple corvette hull, but development of the software to handle 6 articulating turrets called for more serious effort. Apart from the targeting systems, there was the issue of how to design the guns. Since the turrets would be constantly operating at high speed, traditional hydraulics were abandoned in favor of maglev systems based on superconducting polymers. The result was highly successful and allowed for rapid target acquisition without increased wear on the components and heat buildup in the turret assembly. The only real drawback is that the high amounts of torque generated by the traverse of multiple turrets can overwhelm the Tempest's gyro stabilizers and send the craft tumbling. Experienced crews eventually managed to compensate for such forces. This is the Shield class Mark IIIB Defender. The Mark IIIB Defender is the latest in a series of defense strike craft. Built on a rugged chassis that is yet to be surpassed in terms of economy and durability, the Mark IIIB version boasts state-of-the-art targeting systems and upgraded gimbal-mounted turrets. While offensive strike operations are better suited for the far faster and more agile interceptors, Defenders are unmatched in their weapons coverage and targeting accuracy. Designed to protect resourcing operations, carriers, and even lab ships, Shield squadrons are crewed by a mix of veterans nearing retirement and new pilots fresh out of training. Given their deployment as defensive fighters, most of them will ironically remain untested until they are all that stands between the fleet and certain destruction. And here we have the Puppeteer class drone frigate. Early debates about fleet composition saw a faction of the Kushan Navy pushing for the development of autonomous or remotely operated strike craft to replace manned strike craft. However, at the time, AI systems could not match the adaptability or reliability of living beings. Even communications with drones proved difficult, with delays of fractions of a light second becoming problematic. In spite of several promising designs for cheap and powerful drones, initial plans for drones were abandoned due to there being no way to operate them at range. Engineers eventually found a solution by turning the problem around. Instead of asking the drone to do more tasks than it was capable of and behaving like a fighter, engineers created sophisticated tracking and targeting software capable of controlling 24 drones as if they were remote turrets. Taking a modified frigate chassis, the drones deploying a sphere around the vessel, allowing them to project firepower in any direction against multiple fast-moving targets. As a result, the coverage for a drone frigate is unsurpassed. Each drone has a single rapid-fire railgun, which doesn't pack an enormous punch on its own, but when directed against strike craft, the combined result of multiple drones can effectively break up a massed fighter attack. If used in conjunction with Trapper-class gravwell generators, Puppeteer drone frigates can massacre entire strike craft formations. Although they're the most expensive frigate, they are particularly useful in providing anti-fighter escort for frigate formations and last longer than strike craft formations. Here we have the Revelation-class Kushan destroyer. The Revelation-class destroyer is the result of advances in super capital ship-class power plants and hull designs that could mount heavy mass driver turrets and ion cannon turrets. Second only to heavy cruisers in terms of raw firepower, the Revelation-class destroyer can direct an impressive amount of fire towards its forward arc. Somewhat resembling the shape of a sword or a knife, the destroyer boasts heavy armor and impressive speed. Indeed, they're capable of keeping up with frigate squadrons due to being only slightly slower than assault frigates and slightly faster than ion cannon frigates. This is actually my favorite class of ship in the Homeworld universe. If I could captain any ship of this fleet, I would want to command a Revelation-class destroyer. Now, personally, I prefer the Kushan Revelation class over the Taiidan Skull-Tel class destroyer because I just think it looks cooler. I prefer the sleek and utilitarian design of the Kushan vessels over the more animalistic and insectoid style look of Taiidan ships, but again, that's just me. The destroyer is fast and hard-hitting, and I honestly prefer to keep destroyers separate from frigate squadrons and instead group them together as a destroyer division or a squadron. A destroyer division with a good anti-strike craft escort can rapidly just tear ass around the map, bringing significant firepower to bear. Personally, one of my dream games is to have a science fiction game with an immersive user interface like the games Destroyer U-Boat Hunter or Carrier Command 2, where you are placed in command of a single large warship, but a game also with the tactical depth of something like Nebula's Fleet Command. Of course, the latter was heavily influenced by the Homeworld games. So basically, to sum it up, I really would want a game like Destroyer or Carrier Command 2 set in space with a science fiction story like Homeworld and an aesthetic like Homeworld or Nebulous. I think we have a lot of naval games out there like Homeworld where you command large fleets of ships, and a lot of games like, for example, DCS, where you pilot one-man fighter planes. But I think there's some love that's really needed for naval games out there, and I want more games like Destroyer, because I think that those games really immerse you in the role of a captain of a large warship with lots of systems, and I think the good games even give you like a crew that you need to manage. So I think those types of games need more love. Immersive, really in-depth tactical simulators, where it's more than, you're not just one man in a fighter, in a strike craft or whatever. You're in command of a warship, and you've got various weapon systems and crew to manage and lead, and you need to understand like naval tactics, as far as naval tactics can be transposed into space. But yeah, that's my dream game, a Homeworld style game that doesn't operate on a strategic level, but more on a operational and a tactical level with a large warship under your command. That's the kind of game that I personally want. For comparison, let's take another look at the Skulltail class destroyer. Get an idea of the size difference in the two vessels, not to mention the design differences. But yeah, that pretty much does it for the first Nebula mission.
Strike group confirmed.
Of course, in the original version, you can literally spend hours harvesting the resources because you do not automatically collect them at the end of the mission.
Defensive perimeter set.
Yeah, you can literally get up, eat a whole meal, and come back and you'll still be harvesting. But thankfully, you automatically do so in the new version. So let's get out of here.